Hello students, we are studying the topic that is food chain and food webs. In my last video, we have studied about the food chain. So what did we study? In the food chain we saw how the food chain is going to be responsible for the flow of the energy in the ecosystem. We have seen how the energy flows from one source, that is the main source, that is sun, to plants and then to the various different consumers. In the food chain, we have seen how one organism is dependent on the other organism for food. But how far is this food chain correct? Now, for instance, I am going to be having an example over here of sun eating a grass, or sun is going to be giving energy to the grass. The grass is going to be producing the food with the help of the sun, and the grasshopper in turn is feeding on this grass. The frog in turn feeds on this grasshopper. The eagle or the hawk is going to be feeding on the frog. But does this always occur in the same sequence? Does the grasshopper always eat the same type of plant? Does the frog eat only the grasshopper? Or does the hawk eat only the frog? Or no other food it is preferring? Is it so that one organism is going to be depending on only one type of organism? If it was so, then if one organism was lost, the complete sequence of organisms would have been lost. But our nature, our ecosystem is very well maintained itself by not applying the food chain, but instead we are going to be having something known as food webs into the ecosystem. It is not that one organism is going to be dependent on only one other organism. It is having a variety of other options also. If it is getting that, it is okay. But if it is not getting that, it is also going to be having many other options to survive apart from the plants. For plants, the sun is only the main source of energy. Nothing can be done to that. The main source of energy remains the sun. And the plants are going to be taking the energy from the sun. So they always remains the producers. They always remain at the base of the tropic level. They are forming the foundation of our ecosystem. And those are the green plants taking or capturing the energy from the sun. But the remaining others, also known as consumers, have developed various other options for their survival. It is not that one organism is feeding only one type of food. So that interconnection between the food chains is going to be called as the food web. So we can see here what is a food web. A food web can be defined as a network of food chains which are interconnected at various tropic levels so as to form a number of feeding connections amongst different organisms of biotic community. It is also known as consumer resource system. Herein we can see that, for example, suppose I am going to be having a plant. On this plant, suppose we are going to be having a rabbit is going to be feeding on this plant. The mice or a small rat you can consider that is also going to be feeding on this plant. Now this hawk that is going to be there, this hawk not necessarily is going to be eating only this mice. It can also eat the rabbit, it can also eat the snake. In turn, the snake that is going to be there, that can also eat the mice, it can also eat the rabbit. So in this manner, we can see there is a complex network of food chains that is going to be forming the feeding connection amongst the biotic community. That is going to be nothing but your living organisms. and hence the food web can be defined as a network of food chain. Network means interconnections. So a network of food chains which are interconnected, connected within themselves, one depending on other, but it can also eat something else. So, like for example, if I am giving you a chicken option, you will love it, but if I am giving you mutton also, you will be very happy with that. So, in that manner, even the organisms have developed various connections, various interconnections, so that they can depend on various other sources also. So here we can see that a network of food chain which are interconnected at various trophic levels so as to form a number of feeding connections amongst different organisms of a biotic community is going to be called as a food web. Going forward, what are the important facts that we know when I am talking about the food webs? Here we can say that a node represents an individual species or a group of related species or different stages of a single species. So what is a node? So here if you are observing, my small rabbit becomes a node, this rat becomes a node, snake becomes a node. So this node is going to be nothing but it is representing the individual species, one single species or a group of related species. Group of related species means suppose here mice is there, it can be also a rat or it can be also a goose. Same type of organisms or similar type of organisms are going to be called as the same species. So they can be a group of related species or different stages of a single species. It can be an adult organism, it can be a smaller organism, it can be a young organism. So different stages of the single individual can also be considered. And what is a link? Link is nothing but which is connecting two nodes. So this is going to be a link between the two nodes. So we can see a link connects two nodes and arrows represent links and always go from prey to predator. So what is going to be this or arrows representing? So they are representing from prey to predator means herein who is being eaten is going to be called as a prey. Who is undergoing a loss, who will die after this type of communication will be called as a prey. Who is getting benefited, who is getting food, who is going to be hunting that organism or killing that organism is going to be called as a predator now. So like for example, in the case of your rabbit and the producer is a prey, the rabbit becomes the predator. In case of the snake and the rabbit becomes the prey, the snake becomes the predator. So in that manner, the arrow is going from prey to predator. So from rabbit to snake. So from prey to predator, the link arrow is going to be going. The lowest trophic level are called basal species. So who are the basal species? They are going to be always the plants that are going to be the basal species because they are going to be having the food taking from the inorganic material. So the lowest trophic level are called basal species and the highest trophic levels are called the top predators. Now in this case of mine, the hawk becomes the top predator. Movement of nutrients is cyclic but of energy is unidirectional and non-cyclic. Nutrients. What are nutrients? Mineral nutrients can be your carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium. All these are mineral nutrients. All your body is made up of these nutrients only. So these nutrients are being recycled. That is, suppose when an organism is dying, these nutrients get one with the soil. Decomposers we have already seen in my last video. So the decomposer are acting upon that, and they are going to be again converting back the organic material into the inorganic state, into basic nutrients. So it is cyclic. But energy, now I am recording this video, my energy is lost, I cannot get it back until I am going to be again eating new food. Again I am going to be depending upon food, other species. When I will eat it, when I will take the energy from one side, then only I will get the energy. Whatever energy I am losing now, the same energy will not come back to me. Suppose I am going to be having a deer and a tiger. So suppose the tiger is eating the deer, the energy is unidirectional. The energy of deer has gone, it will not be coming back. So movement of nutrients is cyclic, but energy is always unidirectional and non-cyclic. So coming to the types of food webs, so I have just taken in brief. So there are going to be three different types of the food webs, you can say. Topological webs. These food webs simply indicate the feeding relationship. Just based on the feeding relationship, we are having the topological webs. Flow webs. Flow webs are nothing but bioenergetic webs, or flow webs are going to be including information on strength of the feeding interaction, how much strength, how much stronger it is. An interaction web is going to be when the arrows show how one group influence another. So you can say interconnection between one food web and the next food web is known as an interaction web. So we can see based upon the different types, also we are going to be having different types of food webs. The food webs can also be of like soil type of food webs, where it is taking place depending upon that this is going to be based upon the web representation. There are of three types, and these types are based upon where the food webs or where the organisms are present. So where the organisms are present or where the food web is taking place, based upon that the food webs can be of like soil food web. In water it can be aquatic food web. In the forest it can be food web in forest. It can be grassland food web, or it can be terrestrial and aquatic food webs also. So these are the different kinds of food webs. So here I have some examples of the food webs. Like for example, here is a soil food web. So in the soil food web, you can observe many of the decomposers are going to be present. So these decomposers are forming, or saprophytes what we have studied, these are forming a major link between the organic to inorganic conversion. From the dead to the soil, from the living to the soil, the connection is the soil food webs. Herein we can see many fungi, bacteria, protozoa, and then even your earthworms are going to be there, also known as the nematodes, or you can say some animals are also going to be there, like the anteaters you can take, or even some birds are going to be, can be included, because birds are going to be feeding on the nematodes like your earthworms. You can take some arthropods are there, like your ants, which are eating the dead leaves. They are like crushing the dead particles. So in this manner we can see this is going to be a soil food web. This is an aquatic food web in which you can see the aquatic organisms are included. Aquatic organisms not only mean animals, but they can also be the bacteria, they can also be your zooplanktons like your amoeba, they can be phytoplanktons like the cyanobacteria, or your you can take your algae as an example for the phytoplanktons. They can be fishes, they can be crabs, they can be prawns, they can be any larger animals like your seals, or it can be polar bears. Those who are going to be involved in the aquatic food chains, all connected with each other. Suppose I am talking about a forest food web. So here you can say this is an forest food web, wherein suppose I am going to be having a green plant producer. It can be a grass or a like any producer like a plant on which the goat is depending. So here this is going to be plant becomes a prey, goat is a predator now. When a jackal or a wild cat or a owl is eating, now this becomes a predator, the goat becomes a prey. So prey and predator relationship are depending upon the feeding habit. It can be changing. Now here in this, the jackal that is going to be there can eat a goat. It doesn't mean that it is only eating a goat. It can also eat a rabbit. In turn, rabbit is also going to be feeding on the grass or the green plants. A mouse is also going to be eating the green plants. Now this mouse or the rabbit that are there, it is not necessary that it is only eaten by the jackal. It can be eaten even by a wild cat, it can be also eaten by a owl, it can be also eaten by any other organisms like your tiger you can take, or even the dogs eat the rabbit. Mouse can be also eaten by an owl, or it can also eaten by a snake. The jackal in turn can be eaten by a lion. The wild cat is also going to be, a lion can eat it. The snake can be eaten by a kite or a hawk or a owl. So in this manner, these becomes the basal species, the green plants, whereas the lions and the kite or a hawk or a owl can be called as a top level predator. So these are going to be a connection or interconnected web or food chain known as a food webs. So this is an example of a grassland food webs. So grass eaten by a mouse also, grasshopper also. Grasshopper or mouse can be eaten by a lizard, that is grasshopper can be eaten by a lizard. Lizard in turn a hawk can eat it. Mouse can be eaten by a snake, but mouse can be directly eaten by a hawk also. So snake can be eaten by hawk. So rabbit feeding on the grass, it can also be eaten by the hawk. The hawk can also eat a grasshopper if it is not getting anything. So in this manner, a interconnection is going to be there. So this is an terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem. So same thing, you can notice the interconnection between different organisms. It is complex and complicated. You cannot say that one organism is eating only one thing. In the food chain, if you remember, it is lacking the place for a decomposer. But in this case, we can see that the decomposers are given a special place because they are acting a very important place into the ecosystem. Coming to the food webs, when compared to the food chain, the food webs are more realistic and more applicable. So what are the significance of food web? So food webs distinguish levels from producers, consumers by identifying and defining the importance of animal relationship and the food sources, beginning with primary producers such as plants, insects and herbivores. So right from the starting, they are going to be explaining the levels, identifying levels and defining the importance of the animal relationships. Food webs are important tools in understanding that plants are the foundation of all ecosystem and food chains, sustaining life. So without the plants, the no life is going to be possible on this earth. We all have to remember and understand the importance of plants. Without the plants, our survival is not possible. You cannot go and stand in the sun and tell, give me energy. You cannot do it. You are not going to be an alien like they show in the Koi Mil Gaya movie. So herein, you have to derive the energy from the plants or other organisms, which in turn again are depending on the plants. So the importance of the plants, whether it is a food chain or a food web, can be understood. So food webs are important in understanding that plants are the foundation of all ecosystem and food chains. They are going to be providing us nourishment and oxygen, which is going to be necessary for survival and reproduction of all the other organisms. The food web provide stability to the ecosystem. Because of the food webs only, the stability is there. Otherwise, what could happen, Suppose I am having a tiger which is only feeding on the deer. A deer which is going to be only feeding on a type of grass. Then what could happen? Suppose if that grass is over, then the deer also could be dying. All the deers would die. If the deers are dying because the tiger is going to be eating only the deer, all the tiger species also could have lost. If I am going in the reverse manner, suppose if the tiger population could have become more, these tigers eating only deers, so all the deers could have died at once. So if the deers have lost, who will eat the grass? Or only the grass could have grown all over the earth. So in this manner, this type of interconnection, only when it is there, only then the life is going to be possible to sustain on this earth. And hence, plants forming the basal species are very important for the stability is been clearly understood by knowing the food webs. So this is all about the food webs. In the next video, I will be sending you the further things about the population. So until here, we have seen about the organism. We are dealing about only one single organism we are thinking about. Like one organism is depending on the other. The organism is affected by various abiotic factors like your sunlight, or it can be temperature, it can be soil, water. We are talking about one organism. But organisms are never living alone. No, they are going to be living in a herd, a group. So a group is known as a population. So when there is a population, the factors are going to be different. Like for example, if it is an organism, it can be either a male or a female. But if it is a population, it will be like number of males is to number of females. In this manner, a population, how it is going to be there? What are the factors of a population and how they are different from the organism? Let us see that in my next video.